It's an all Deathstroke all the time edition of The Middle-Aged Kid coming at you. Howdy gang, Glenn here. I've been getting a lot of pop figures lately, not only in boxes but also in normal course of going on spending sprees. So I thought I would review a couple of pops that I've got, and all three of them are named Deathstroke. So I got all these within the past week. I've got the Deathstroke regular and Deathstroke metallic version. These are all the comic book version. These are both the comic book version of Deathstroke. Basically the same figure, but regular and metallic. And these are both, I got both of these from Entertainment Earth. They carry PX Preview stickers. And what that basically means is PX Previews is basically the main distributor for your, say, comic book stores. So PX Previews exclusive basically means that these are the same ones that would go to a comic book store later. But these would be kind of like first to market stickers. Sometimes they generally come out later. They're the same kind of stickers you'll see on some of the Hot Topics will say Hot Topic exclusive pre-release. That means they're going to come out later in a regular box, but these are kind of your preview editions. And then the third one is the Deathstroke from the Arrow show, and this is the Deathstroke Unmasked Hot Topic exclusive. So we're going to go through each one of them and see what they're all about. All right, we're going to start with the regular Deathstroke. This is Deathstroke number 49 in the Pop Heroes collection from DC. There's one Deathstroke that I don't have, and that is comic book version of Unmasked Deathstroke. So this is Deathstroke, the older Deathstroke with pure white hair and basically the same mold but with a different head. So still looking to get that one. Box came in great shape. Entertainment Earth is kind of hit or miss. They send most of their pops in a small box that basically just fits the pop itself. There's no bubble wrap or any peanuts or anything like that. The box is only big enough to fit this box in it. And usually that works out pretty well. Every once in a while, if somebody doesn't handle it perfectly, or gets a little rough with it, you could crush the box. But the box is so small, it's got less surface area to crush, so they usually end up in pretty good shape. So all the boxes I've been getting lately, at least from Entertainment Earth, have been pretty good. So let's look at the build here. To me, the most important part of a Funko Pop is the head, because it's the biggest, it's the most prominent thing on the figure, so it's usually the thing that I'm looking at the closest with regards to flaws and also on the good side, detail. The first thing I generally look at is the eyes. Those of you that have some Batman figures that may have noticed that a lot of the time the eyes don't come out so well. There's some paint bleeding, or there's some other kind of imperfection right around the eye where the quote-unquote socket would be. This one's a little bit easier because it only has one eye that really has to be they have to be careful with a different paint. But these came out really, really well. Looks good. Top of the head, Deathstroke has a prominent two-face type head, so you have to be kind of careful going down the middle there, because you could have some non-straight lines, and if you look, it's not exactly perfect. You can kind of see right there's a little hitch when they were doing the painting, almost like, oh, we went too far over this way, so now we have to kind of go to the left a little bit. But to me, that's okay. I like to see a little reminder that it's painted by somebody and not not a digital machine type, although it could very well be. If you keep going on the top of the head, you can see that there's a little bit of paint bleed from the blue over to the orange. Not too bad, not too noticeable. Again, you're looking at pops basically from this perspective, but still, it's always good to see where it's quality and where it's got a little hiccup. We've got a little orange spot here on the head. And the other thing I noticed about the back of the head, which really you're not seeing very much, is kind of a reverse scratch. It's actually extra plastic sticking out in kind of a straight line on the back of the head. But again, it's something that's not too noticeable, and you're really only looking at your pops from the front. If you're out of box, and if you're in box, you're not even going to notice that at all. Other than that, the mold is really good. I like the details on his suit. The gloves look really good. It almost looks like these gloves could be taken off, because they're definitely, the mold has them looking very distinct and not just like a painted part of his hands. I always like to look at belts, because belts are hard to do on these small figures and get right and actually, look decent. These look really good down to the little X's on the belts. And then the back piece looks really good as well. I don't see really any paint bleeding or anything. They got in there in the small spaces pretty good. And the feet look good. In general, this is a pretty good figure. You can see, there's a little bit there's some paint bleed right there. That's the only significant one I've seen on this figure, right at the shoulder there. But in general, as pop figures go, this is a pretty good looking figure. All right, Deathstroke Metallic, also number 49. Box is going to be the same. This is a variant edition on the regular Deathstroke that I just showed you, but it's the metallic version, so nice and shiny. I dig the metallics. The only other metallic I have is the metallic Blue Lantern, which is a nice figure. It's not quite as metallic looking as this one, though. This one has a definite sheen to it. Looking at the paint job, got some flaws. You can kind of see some fading right here. Remember we talked about the eyes, how important the eyes were, and how on some of the figures, especially the Batman, sometimes the eyes are a little messed up. Well, there's a little nick on the eye here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's just a little nick right there. There's a little discoloration up on the forehead area, and then there's a big mess right up here on the very top of his head. I've got kind of a gold shiny remnant here. I can't tell if it's a scratch and a lack of the blue color, or if it's something added to the color that it is. And then there's almost like a blue. This is definitely, there's some texture to that, so it's definitely some sort of mark or a scratch. Almost looks like a pen, like an ink pen. So the head's not actually looking that great. You can see some discoloration there around the ear, quote unquote. On the back, it's missing some paint. So it's missing a whole stripe of paint there. And then there's another scratch looking thing right on the side. Really, as paint jobs go, and this being a metallic version, which is supposedly, a special quote unquote version of the regular pop, this paint job is a lot worse than the regular. It's not looking that good. Now in the box, you're not going to notice these things as much, but really kind of disappointed with how the paint looks on this. The body looks better. Body's definitely better than the head. You can see a little dark to light difference, a little bit of shading that's going on the belt. Like they didn't get the whole thing when they were going to paint this in a metallic color. It's kind of too shaded right on the front belt. So that's not great. Everything else looks pretty good. The back looks good. Again, a couple of little imperfections, but particularly on the head, making that one not such a great paint job. That's definitely going back in the box because it'll look a lot better there. Okay, and lastly, we've got the Hot Topic exclusive, number 211, Unmasked. Deathstroke Unmasked from the Arrow television series. This is in the Arrow series of pops, and there's also a Deathstroke Masked, which is a common pop, a regular pop, that I have not gotten yet. So really I have 2 Deathstrokes still to get. They're kind of the opposite. I have the unmasked comic version and then the masked television version to get. But this is the unmasked, number 211. This, just from first glance, is a great looking pop figure. It's clear. The head looks amazing. It's got a little bit of a stain on the side, but other than that, the head looks really, really good. The eye looks great. The detail of the eye patch, the eye patch has a border, like a ridge, which it should have, like in reality, but they represented it pretty well here. The beard looks awesome. The touch of gray leading into the black-gray hair. Really a great looking head on this pop figure, and the body's just as good. Such detail, amazing detail on this body armor. The sword looks cool, but if you look at, so many different little paint jobs having to go through this body. They really did a really good job. It's very detailed. It looks amazing. This is one of the few Hot Topic exclusives I might put out of the box just because it looks so good, and it's going to look really good with the rest of the Arrow characters. And this is the 4th one I have. So this looks really good. No visible flaws other than this little darker patch right here. But other than that, it looks great. Nice job there. And I think that's the best looking pop so far from this particular series. All right, so there are my Deathstroke pops. I hope you enjoyed a little out-of-box look at them, and we'll do this from time to time when I get some pops that I feel like I want to share and that I'm excited about. Until next time, we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.